Good afternoon, good morning guys. We're just going to the gym now. So this is where the not so magic happens. This is my little garage gym. Give you a little tour. A heavy bag, no, can't see that. A heavy bag, a bit of a mace, a homemade mace. It's a broomstick with some weights on the bottom, weighted vest, some hose and stuff which we might use later on. Weightlifting shoes, a spike ball as you saw much of before. This is all stuff from the season that I've carried on with me that actually was in there. That's all the weight. We've got about just over 200 kilos there. We've got the bar and my squat rack which wobbles when it gets over 110, 120. This guy's a bit squint, you see that? A bit rusty and squint. He does the job. These are my favourites, the kettlebells, and we've got some gymnastic rings and we've got a bar we can put between these two bits of rope when I want to do pull-ups. So it's a cool little space, I really like it in here. We built it years and years ago. I used to train with like a group of guys that used to race, and then they all stopped doing the training at least, and it became very expensive for me to do it on my own with a coach, so we decided to stop doing that and spend the money on here. And my little brother raced at the same time, so it was sort of a big investment, but it was worth it at the time, and it's been used for probably about 10 years now, so it's definitely got its money worth. I always want to upgrade this bar to like a proper Olympic one, but it's a lot of money. And let's get into it. I'm going to do a session now. I'm going to take this mic off, and you're probably just going to hear lots of grunting and lots of me making funny noises. I'm trying not to wheel out the neighbours too much. What sort of music are you into? I normally just listen to the weirdest shit in the gym. I listen to like these ones, day list, and it just makes sometimes they hit the spot, sometimes they're just terrible. Let's see what we've got today. Party rap 90s hip hop afternoon. You see that? See if we like it. So they always warm up with a bit of a hang. Good for your upper body, and if you think we're always past monkeys and what they always hang in, so it's good for your shoulders, really good for your shoulders. So first up, we're going to get some kettlebell snatches. So if you think about it, it's pull with the bottom body and then a bit of a push. So it's pull, push. That's our biggest lift and our most explosive lift. That's why we get it out done, so then we can focus on everything. All right, so that's us warmed up. We just build up a bit with all the weights we've got over there. I think the working weight is going to be 40 today. We might try and get a couple, with the big boy being 52. But I'm not sure we won't be able to get many on them. So we might try a couple on these, and then we'll really be working with these just to try. I think it's good to really push yourself, obviously. And yeah, I've done it a few times before, but it's definitely better for me. So. Snatch is done. I'm actually quite impressed I did that. I never normally use that, and I normally do one or two, and then I stop. And normally it's only this arm. This arm normally doesn't manage very much. I'm a bit weak on my left hand. But yeah, probably it's the pressure of having you lot watching me. So now we've done that, that's the main explosive. I'm trying to use both systems, so the pull and the push, even though it's not really a push, you sort of more catching it. But yeah. Now we're going to do swings. I know I said deadlifts earlier, but I don't do much deadlifts at all because my back isn't great. So yeah, I try and avoid the deadlift. It's just not too much of a risk, but a bit of a risk with my back. And the swings I think do 4/5 of what a deadlift does, especially heavy swings, trying to really be explosive. I know they're a bit divisive, the swings, because some people say they don't do anything, some people say they do. I'm a big fan of the kettlebells, and the swing is the main one. And then we'll also do some dips next. So again, these are all full body, not full body, but full system. So the dips, the whole arm, isn't it? You go dip, you're not going, I don't know, using sort of a whole body system. So we're going to do some dips on the rings, which I'm not very good at, and they're laughing at me, and some kettlebell swings. Again, keeping the big movements, the more explosive movements, the more taxing movements first. I'm not very good at dips. Be nice. So that's the most explosive, most taxing one, being the snatch. Then we went with some fairly heavy swings, as heavy as we can go in here. Again, really explosive. So if you can't go as heavy as you want, or as heavy as you can, being explosive, doing that strength over a small amount of time is very similar into some dips, which are very challenging for me. So they were slow, but they were heavy. They're not any weight, but heavy for me. So now we're going to go into the single leg stuff. So the more isolating stuff, and then we'll go into things. So I think we're going to do some kickstand deadlifts, which you focus on all on one, but you plant and you set back foot. So it's not a single leg stiff leg deadlift. It's a kickstand, which is, instead of going like this, which means you can't really load it very well because you're always going to, no matter how strong you are, that's always going to be the limiting factor. Whereas if you have your foot planted here, you try to put 90% of your weight through here, but this just holds it and you can load it a lot more. So kickstand deadlift with all the weight going through here pretty much. Into, for the bottom lower body. And then we're going to do some Swiss ball leg curls. So that's like the equivalent of going to the gym and doing the hamstring curls. Don't have that here, so we've got a Swiss ball that we do it with instead. And with the upper body, not thought about that yet, figure it out. I actually leave it pretty open-ended, so I can adapt to how I'm feeling, and also I'll get bored. If I write a program for a month and I've got to stick to that, boring. So I know what I need to achieve that session, but I play with it while I'm doing it because it keeps it fun, keeps me interested. Again, not super heavy now because we've done most of the strenuous stuff. Now just going to try and really isolate things and yeah, not pushing the weight as much. Okay, we can push the weight a little bit more. Alright, so that's the hamstrings cooked. So we're going to do some upper body stuff. I know this has been pretty legs heavy this session, but I tend to do that at the beginning of the week because obviously it's more taxing on the legs, the bigger muscles. You tend to take more of your whole system. So I tend to start the week more legs heavy. I'm always more legs heavy. You can see the size of my arms compared to my legs. Definitely more legs heavy. But end of the week we'll sort of, so when I do this session again later on, at the end of the week, maybe it'll be a lot more upper body, core focused, less on the legs because I'll be tired throughout the week. But yeah, let's do some upper body, push it, overhead press. So we are going to finish on a bit of bench, incline bench press. I know that helps. Zero athletic performance, but hey, we're all 15-year-old boys deep down, aren't we? I want to be big and muscly. We've certainly got some work to do in the upper body front. So not going super heavy on that one because end of the session we're trying to, you'll be treating it as like an accessory, even though it is, a lot of people treat it as a compound and try to get real heavy on it. That's not what we're going for. We're going for high reps, high weights, baby weights. I realise if anyone gets Dr. Mike on this video, this somehow gets mad views and we end up getting roasted by Dr. Mike. If you know who Dr. Mike is, he's a sports scientist, but he tells people off about the thing. I know this isn't the best way of doing things or the most scientific way of doing things, but under the parameters of what we're doing, we want flexibility, adaptability, because every day we've got different things to do. I think it's pretty good. And we're trying to get athletic, we're not trying to get big. we do. We're trying to get big, we're trying to get big. But yeah, if anyone gets Dr. Mike on this, I'm gonna fucking find you and get upset at you because I'll get roasted. Okay, so that is the session done. Thought I'd address some of the things that I would thought about myself if I was watching it. How do we manage like the weights to make sure you're getting stronger and stuff? So I know the weights that I'm on. I know the strength level that I'm on for like the main lifts, so the clean. I can do cleans today, I'll do cleans tomorrow. Back squat, the kettlebell snatch, and all that sort of. So the main big lifts, the compound lifts, I know how much I can lift with them. So then they're the ones we're really pushing the numbers with and trying to improve on. And the accessories afterwards, we're not so focused on numbers, we're just more focused on, it becomes a bit more bodybuildery. So you're trying to get like, target certain muscles in certain ways, if that makes sense. So when you're doing it this way, you still need to keep an eye on the progressive overload and make sure you are just getting stronger and you're not just coming to the gym and not doing anything. So we do track the numbers on the back squat and stuff. Yeah, that's just worth a note, because if you did do this way, you could end up just sort of doing it. I think you will get improvements that way, but you've always got to be trying to push the envelope a bit physically. We're gonna have a bit of a break. Like I said, you want to have, so this was a strength session, and then we're gonna have a break and then do a bit more of an agility session this afternoon. We're also gonna have the trampoline. That's at work because we're not getting space at home. Yeah, we're gonna go in there and try and learn to backflip. I'm horrifically bad. I've only done it a few times, been practicing a few times. It's just, I've hurt myself a few times trying to learn to backflip without the proper safety and without the proper thingy. And there's still not the proper safety, but even with less safety, I don't have a trampoline, so I was just trying to backflip onto a mattress and I landed on my neck and a bunch of times. So now I've got a real mental block, so we're trying to get over that. I think that's useful as well. That's what I mean by the third session, when you're trying to learn. So it's more about your brain and learning to learn. I think that is really underrated value, and just like letting yourself become more athletic, so on the bike or just sort of learning, yeah, more about your brain. We're going to merge those two with some trampolining and some hurdles, some cones, some ladders, some agility. And don't laugh at my trampolining, I'm going to get better. The goal this year is to learn to do a backflip on skis. That's a goal for the year. It's obviously not the main goal, but we're going to try and get that one as well, because that's pretty cool. And I was always like, oh, can you do a backflip? Oh, you ski, oh, can you do a backflip? No, I can't. I can't barely do a jump. So we're going to learn that, and then I can be like, yeah, I can do a backflip. Yo guys, so I'm just going to drive down to my work now. It's about a 5-minute thing. You ever seen the Proclaimers? I'm going to tell everyone where I live now. You ever seen the Proclaimers? And I would walk 500 miles. They grew up in this village. Fun fact for you. Alright, we're going to give this a go until I feel sick, or until I hurt myself. We're trying to get a bounce on the back and then get used to going backwards. It's a slow process, man. I've been doing this a fair bit. Not a fair bit, really. I've done it a couple of times. And I thought I'd be like, oh, after one session, be like, oh, I'm ready to go. It takes its time. I feel so silly doing this on the internet. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. I'm going to do this for another 10 minutes. And I'm actually giving myself the ick. I'm so bad. You got to start somewhere, eh? Give myself the ick on the internet. I'm going to post about it. Embarrassing. Anyway, keep trying. I feel like I'm getting somewhere. I feel like I'm being super athletic. And then I see the video back and I'm like, ooh. The only thing is, I know I can do it. It's just in my head. It's all in my head. Next, it's good to learn, but it's like athletically, I know I could do it. Oi. Close. kind of Google what's to do next on the trampoline. YouTube is my greatest ally in life. They all say do it, and it's like how to do it in 5 minutes. Right, I think I need to bounce my bum now, according to Mr. YouTube. I'm doing some hurdles and some trampoline, sort of sporadically. Bit of hurdles, bit of trampoline, bit of hurdles, bit of trampoline. Do that for about 45 minutes and we'll call it there. Again, we're building up to try and do as much work capacity, so it's not loads now because we're just starting. So it'll get more and more and more as we go on. I'm a massive advocate for barefoot shoes and how good they are for you. But when you're doing this sort of thing, high impact, sprints or jumps, especially when you're landing on your heel trying to go for distance, I bought some shoes with some squish. Not much squish in the grand scheme of things, but I have, and it feels a bit weird to be honest. But it's nice to go on a run and not feel like my feet are gonna implode, explode, either way. And do some hops, because normally when you're doing, I do hops for distance, land on the heel because you sort of go and then land like on the back of your feet, and that really kills, and I bruise my heels every time. So I've learnt my lesson. Right, and that'll do me. I might throw up. That's me for the trampoline. Definitely getting there. Slow progress though, it's like skiing. Alright, that's me for today. I thought I'd just say the reason I broke it down so much was for when I was a younger racer, I would have loved to have known a bit more in depth about why people do certain things and sort of some of the sports science behind it. It's pretty basic stuff and definitely out there to be found if you want to go more depth. But yeah, in a ski racing context, I thought it'd be interesting for either younger racers or parents. But mainly the most important thing is to go to the gym. If you're a young racer, just go to the gym and you'll figure it out from there really. And do other sports. That's basically general physical fitness. Doing other sports is the easiest one. So yeah, that is that. See you next time. Hope you enjoyed. I'll try not to break my neck if I do any more of this before next year. Thanks for watching. Bye. Why'd you do that? What was that for?